Hey guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Just Want to Vent My Experience on Being Cheated On and Moving Forward. And guys, this story is ultimately a pretty good success story about a guy who, just like in the title says, he finds out his wife was cheating on him, and she puts him through a lot of hell, lots of lying going on, manipulation, just a whole lot of drama she puts him through. But ultimately, in the end, comes out on top. And you're going to see as I go into this, guys, that this guy, he's young, he's 27, that's young in my mind, has a 3-year-old daughter, and he's doing the best he can for his family. He's working full-time, he's going to school, and in the little free time he has, he takes care of the daughter, and he tries to be a good husband and all that, but nobody's perfect, understandable, and yet, you see what happens here. And you're going to find out, guys, that there are other things that I talk about in other videos that are going to come out in this story, so I'm going to point these things out to help you guys in case you ever find yourselves in a situation like this, because you never know. But this is just, once again, another story just like this. So, starts off, hello. Just wanted to share my story with people that have been through what I've been through. So I was married with a 2, almost 3-year-old daughter when I found out that my 26-year-old wife cheated on me. So, let's just stop here. He says he's 27 and she's 26. They have a almost 3-year-old daughter, so she had the girl when she was 23. Now, you're going to find out later in the story that these two have been together for 9 years. So, give or take when he was 18 and she was 17. Guys, one of the most common themes, the common denominator to almost all these stories is that the couple gets together way too young, okay? I mean, ridiculously young. Now, it doesn't say when they were married, but they've been a part of each other's lives that long. And typically what happens is, I tell you guys all the time, don't get married until you're 30 years old, okay? If you're going to do it. I tell you not to do it, but if you're going to do it for whatever reason, it's your business, wait until you're 30. Get a lot of life experience, okay? Get out there, experience things, work on your purpose, work on you, your job, your goals, your ambitions. Become the best you can be as a man, okay? And you can always become better, but you see what I'm going here. And by age 30, you're going to be around the block, you're going to learn a lot, and you're not going to fall for a lot of mistakes that a lot of guys make. But nowadays, people do not have the maturity level at such a young age to get married as young as people once did, because a lot of our parents and grandparents got married very young in their very early 20s, sometimes very late teens, depending on how far you go. But the whole level of maturity back then was so much more compared to nowadays, you know? And so this just seems to always happen with the couples that get married super young. So just be aware of that, guys. I know I say this a lot, but it's so important. So many guys think they found the one and she's amazing and blah, blah, blah. And then they get together in their early 20s and this type of crap happens. So, had to say that. He goes on. He says here, he found out his 26-year-old wife was cheating on him. This happened when she went on a cruise with 2 of her girlfriends. They left and came back. Then a few days later, after getting back, my ex-wife now, she's now his ex-wife when he's writing this story, states that she thinks we need to separate for a while the day before my daughter's 3rd birthday. Well, that's really nice of her. This was out of nowhere. We had never had this kind of discussion before. So, how stereotypical is she goes on the vacation with the girlfriends, comes back, and things are different. And now she wants to separate, and just so kindly wants to do it the day before the daughter's 3rd birthday. That's really loving, Mom. She could have waited at least 48 hours for the party to happen and be done before leaving the house and wanted to break up. He says, the backstory, I was in school at the time, working full-time and taking care of my daughter in between, along with moving to a new house in our town. We would argue, and honestly didn't have the best communication skills. With all that being said, when she asked about going on the cruise, I said, sure, no problem. She watched our daughter the majority of the time, and I felt like it would be a nice thing for her to do with her friends. Even though we didn't really have the money to be doing it at the time, I would watch our daughter while she went. So this guy, like I said in the beginning, he's taking care of his family. He's working full-time. He's going to school, obviously, to better his situation and make more money and take care of his family. And when he's not working or going to school or studying, he's taking care of the daughter. Okay. Meanwhile, it says that the wife watches the daughter most of the time. I don't know if she works or not. It's not mentioned, but I'm going to probably guess either she doesn't work or it's very minimal. So this guy is doing his job as a man, but guess what? It's not enough. And he says, yeah, they would argue and communication wasn't great. communication is key for successful relationships, that I can tell you. But still, that doesn't justify her actions. He says, so after she asked me about separating, I was very upset and ended up leaving for the night to go to my parents' house. We ended up canceling her birthday party with the family. That sucks. Come on, stick it out for your daughter, for God's sakes. We ended up talking and agreeing to try to work things out. So I find a marriage counselor and get us going to her that week. We were going for about 3 to 4 weeks until I found out the real reason for her wanting to separate. I can only imagine what that could be. The 2 friends that went on the cruise with her were mutual friends of mine, and we all actually worked together at the time. Friend number 1 was acting semi-normal. Friend number 2 was a little uneasy talking with me and knew about my ex-wife wanting to separate with me. She knew we were going to counseling now and asked me how everything was going. I told her I thought it was going well. Also of note, my wife at the time was telling me that friend number 2 was acting weird on the cruise and got upset with her, and friend number 1 didn't really disclose anymore. So, ordinarily, guys, the sirens, they're coming for me. Ordinarily, guys, understand this, that for you guys that do relationships, that are in relationships or want relationships, understand this, that if your girlfriend or wife has girlfriends, and you obviously know them, and you're friendly with them, and they're friendly with you, understand this, they're her friends first. Let me just make this clear, okay? But by and large, they're her friends first, okay? Now, there are certain situations and stories I've done where the wife cheats or does something horrible to the husband, and guess what? Her friend or friends actually like the guy more because they don't like what she did or something like that. But by and large, understand this, guys. Be aware that your wife's friends are her friends. Just keep that in mind. However, in this story, it's a little different. There are exceptions to the rule. He says, so fast forward to me and friend number 2 talking at work. When I tell her, friend number 1 and my ex-wife were going to another city for a girls' trip that next week. So all this crap started after the girls' weekend on the cruise, and now when they're supposed to be reconciling, this guy is allowing her to go to another girls' weekend to another city. What's the definition of insanity? Come on here, dude. This guy's a good guy, but he's a little clueless. That's when, this is friend number 2, that's when she tells me hesitantly about some guy whose name I never heard. She had been talking to my then wife about it, trying to get her to come clean about the whole thing to me. My ex-wife had told her that she stopped talking to the guy and wasn't going to do anything else. She also told me that friend number 1 also slept with a guy on the cruise, and they were trying to get friend number 2 to join with the third guy. Imagine that. There was a guy in the picture, and who would ever saw that coming? I go home after work and confront her about this guy. She tries to deny the whole thing. Of course. I press her more. She finally acknowledged that she had slept with him on the cruise. She was also still actively talking and texting him daily while we were going to marriage counseling. There you go. That goes and shows about her character. If she comes home from the cruise and wants to end the relationship, he doesn't know why. It's another dude she was hooking up with on the cruise. And friend number 1, because birds of a feather flock together, was hooking up with another guy. I don't know if friend number 1 had a husband or boyfriend back home. But friend number 2, the girl that told her husband about this, obviously she wasn't gung-ho for any of this. She says, and also, by the way, and all during the marriage counseling, she's still talking to the guy. So what the hell's the point of marriage counseling? And this woman's a liar. She's deceitful, manipulative. That day, I moved out and got a lawyer. We agreed upon a split custody of our daughter until we figured everything out. We discussed our relationship more and more and finally agreed upon trying to reconcile a few weeks after moving out. Dude, she cheated on you. She's lying, manipulating. When you were supposed to go into marriage counseling to fix the situation, she's still talking to the guy and texting him and probably hooking up with him. And now you're going to try to reconcile after knowing all this? She's not going to change, okay? And I'm going to guess this guy's probably doing this for his daughter, which I respect and that's honorable. But you don't want to be in a relationship, a marriage with a woman that's like this. and have to suffer while you have just for the daughter, because the daughter's going to pick up on this. The daughter's going to know there's no love between mom and dad, that you're fighting and there's tension and all that. And that daughter, if you stay together long enough, could grow up and have a relationship like that one day. And you don't want that for her. And also, guess what? You, as the father, as a man, you're entitled to happiness too, you know. So no. And you stay with a woman like this, you're just going to be wondering all the time, who's she talking to, who's she texting to, where's she going, is she being honest? You know, when you're hooking up with her, you're going to imagine her with some other dude or wondering what's on her breath. So no, it's not a good thing. Anyhow, we tried to reconcile a few weeks after me moving out. I drove all the way to our house. I had moved in with my parents, at that point 45 minutes away. When I got there, I said, if we are going to do this, you have to quit talking to the guy and friend number one who you did this all with. That's reasonable. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't quit talking to him and her to salvage a 9-year relationship. That's when I knew she wasn't the person I thought she was. The coming months were absolute hell. She would manipulate me into watching our daughter on her days so she could go see her new boyfriend up north. Lies after lies after lies. She quit talking to friend number two since she told me what happened. Yeah, the good friend who was, being honest, she kicked her to the curb. She told me it was my fault at one point because we didn't communicate well and would argue. Put me through absolute hell. So instead of actually really trying to talk about the problem and all that, she's going to blame him. She's going to go cheat and lie, manipulate and all that and blame him. And let me tell you something right now. Does she actually think, well, there's no thinking going involved here. It's all emotions. But does she actually think the guy that she's having the affair with, that she's hooking up with, the chatter Tyrone, does she think that she's going to have something promising with that guy down the road when this is over with the husband? Do you think that he's going to be a good communicator and treat her like this guy is? I don't think so. Fast forward. Friend number two and I have become even closer friends through all this and started dating each other. Aha. We've been dating each other for over a year now. She is a good person with the same moral values as me and loves my daughter just as much as me. I have 50-50 custody of my daughter, which I love. That must drive his wife or ex-wife absolutely crazy. That now he's with the friend that told him what was really going on, and she's there with the daughter, and the daughter probably sees her as a mom. That must make her crazy. I keep thinking, why did this happen to me? But I've come to realize it made me stronger. She was in the wrong, no matter how bad she says our relationship was. It doesn't excuse the lies, the cheating, and manipulative behavior she put me through. Exactly. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. However, I hope this guy, through this whole experience, he learns some things. He learns that he has to always keep his eyes open. He always has to pay attention for the red flags, okay? He's talking about this girl right now, friend number two, and he's in the honeymoon period with her, and everything's great. And maybe she really is a great person with great moral values like him. She obviously told him about what was going on, didn't like it. But one has to say, did she do that because she wanted the guy anyway? Who knows, but he's happy with her. Good, but just take your time. Be careful. Don't get in your idea that she's the one and that everything's magical and nothing can go wrong, because that's bullshit. Okay? I would say don't get married again after what he's been through, but this guy seems like that type of guy. Just be careful. He says, now here gets to the really good part here, guys, with his ex-wife. He says, also, around 9 months after everything, she came crawling back to me saying it was all a mistake and she was sorry. This and that. She wanted to work it out and she had quit talking to him a few months after everything. Total BS. She showed me her true character when I was bawling my eyes out after finding out about the cheating and her splitting up with me all over it. Sorry for the long read. Felt good to write it out. I'm in a great place in my life with a beautiful woman and daughter who appreciates me. That's awesome for this guy. And hey, how about that? After all this crap, and this guy, he moves on, he gets his life together, he's now with this girl who was her friend, and things are good. Now the ex is coming crawling back, crying, wanting him back, wanting a second chance. She's sorry. Did she see how great this guy was back in the day when she had him? No. She was out hooking up with Chad and Tyrone. Well, I'm willing to bet you the reason that she suddenly saw the light and it's come crawling back to the guy, the author of this story, is probably because the guy that she was hooking up with, Chad or Tyrone, kicked her to the curb. He's on to a new girl, because that's how it works. And so now she's alone, and probably I'm sure there's money issues and all that. And obviously she's probably embarrassed of being alone and, all these things. And she wants this guy back. But this guy, thank the Lord, seen the light. He realizes she's full of crap, and that is it. So good for him. But this is a good story to hear from guys. Again, like I told you in the beginning, these guys, what's so common about these stories is these guys, they get together too early in life. They're not mature enough to get married so young or get so serious. So you got to have experience, guys. You got to take your time. Because, again, let's be honest, and I don't mean to be insulting to you young guys that are right now in college or just getting out of college, but if I'm trying to keep it real here, the level of maturity and experience that young guys have in their early 20s, this is not the same as it was when I was your age or my parents. It's just not. Society has done an unfortunate job of coddling the youth so that they aren't adults like they should be when they actually are legal adults, 18 and 21, 22. It's not the same. I'd like to see the world move in a direction where making boys into men earlier, but it is what it is. I do what I can to help. But don't get settled down so quickly and easily, okay? Take your time. I tell you not to get married. I've said that more times than I can count. But if you're going to do it, at least wait till you're 30 or close to 30. Get a lot of experience. Learn some things. Get plenty of experience, your goals, your purpose, all that. I can't stress enough how important that is, okay? And pay attention to the red flags, guys. No matter how great for you guys that are in relationships, no matter how great it is, always keep your eyes open. It's sad that you got to do that, but it's just how it is. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.